Cruising, 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 raw
Hey.
ride. You ever heard that song, Paul? Cruising, 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 raw ride. Yes.
Yeah, I've heard something similar to that.
Yep. In many ways, the cruise industry has had a raw ride, and today we're going to do a little discussion, a little in-depth conversation into the cruise industry, which is a big piece to the overall tourism puzzle here in Canada. And we're very happy to have our guest on tonight, who is Mr. Andrew Parker from Destinations North America. And we will be bringing Andrew on in about 10 minutes time. But first, welcome to episode 28 of the ehTravel Talk Show, broadcasting live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. from Base Camp in beautiful Maple Leaf, Canada, our hometown. We have a great show today, Col.
That's great to hear, Greg. I'm here to get an education from Andrew. Sounds very interesting from our pre-talk we had.
Yes. We went in the virtual green room and we were all munching out on our virtual goodies, poutine,
Yes.
a little bit of a Caesar here and there, a little bit of some Smarties, all that Canadian-made product there in our virtual green room. So it was nice to have Andrew come on early and have a good chat with him. Just on our chat alone, Colin, he blew me away.
Yeah, for sure. It was nice to talk to him and hear what he had to say.
Yeah. So if you are a cruiser and if you like to cruise and see the world by boat, then you need to watch this show. And if you are not a cruiser, you need to watch this show.
Yes.
So we're going to talk a little bit about both of those markets, okay? But today we're going to go through what we're going to have at the end of the show. Please stick around. Is we're going to do a little bit of we have a little video to show you about our part 4 of 7 of our Yukon Arctic expedition we just came back from. On this episode, we do a little bit of mountain biking in the Arctic. We go and visit at Whitehorse, Yukon.
Nice.
Number 2 is our favorite feature is A Week in Tourism. And what we'll do there, of course, is we'll talk about some tourism stats that are out there. And we'll do a little talk. Now, our background, in honor of Mr. Parker, we put a little cruise ship in there. So we got a little bit of cruising going on here, and that's the topic of our day. And today, we're going to talk about our fabulous Canadian cruise industry, which has taken a big hit. We're going to learn a lot about the industry, not just here in Canada, but we're going to hear a little bit about the industry on a global basis, again, with Mr. Andrew Parker, and we'll be inviting him on the show. But there's always a but.
Oh, yes. Bring it on.
The corporate department, the legals, and we are like massive upstairs corporate department. We got to do a little bit
all the time
because we, sometimes we break on-air rules and we hear it from them because this ain't like any other Canadian show. This is a Canadian show for real people, and it's a Canadian show for people who love this country and like to explore it by land, air, or sea. But first, what we got to do is tell you that this show is recorded live. So things happen. Chill out. We'll be right back. Go refill your coffee. We'll be right back. It's a live show. An edited version of this show will be online tomorrow, and that will be on our best nationwide travel adventure company website. We just won that award internationally at Lux Life magazine and the AI group. We're also will be on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr, YouTube, and where I have met Mr. Andrew Parker on LinkedIn. So we'll be sharing it there as well. We also will be having a little feature at the end of the month, which Andrew will be part of, and it'll be our top globally ranked travel blog. We're ranked 23rd on the top 1,000 global travel blogs, and our blog's called Two Brothers, 2 Feet, 2 Curious, and 2 Canadian. So make sure you check that blog out. There's over 1,000 stories on it, and that will be growing and growing. And the number one thing, Call, we ask all our viewers, this show, other show, and every show
is
share.
Why
don't you tell them the importance of sharing, dude?
Me?
Yeah.
Sharing is very important. It's how you get the word around. It's how you help out people like us and businesses like us.
Yep. It's everything in our business. You got to share. We're going to share Andrew's message we hear today. You got to share our message. And if we all share it in the tourism industry, if we all share each other's content, we're introducing various sectors of the industry to different target markets. So that's how we have to look at this as an industry. We've got to be able to say, I'm going to share Andrew's stuff to a market that Andrew has never met. So I'm going to expose the cruise industry about Andrew. Andrew hopefully will reverse it and share it on his formats of people who have never met the #1 hit awesomeness show of the world in Canada. We got to make sure he'll be doing that. So
plus it's getting all over the world. I mean, you don't know where your shares are going. Everywhere they go, they're seeing Canada, they're hearing about Canada, and when things open up, they're going to want to come to Canada.
And let me just remind you guys, and if you've been a regular viewer like Camacho Julio, and sorry if I said that wrong, but he's here every week, and he's just given us a big shout out from
Camacho.
Peru. So I'm going to tell you, we've had some press in Australia on this show. We've had press from the United Kingdom about this show. We've had press throughout Germany on this show. We've had press in Canada. We've had press in the US. So this show, even though it is on this extremely high budget, as you can tell, I mean, billions, that it is getting a lot of traction. So we're really excited to have people like Andrew. But first, let me tell you who we are. My name is Greg Girard. I'm the co-host of of this show, A Travel Talk Show, co-founder of ehCanadaTravel.com. That's the one that was just ranked by Best Nationwide Adventure Travel Company, 23rd ranked blogger, top 1,000, and small town tourism consultant. And next door to me is the better looking, by far, way smarter bro.
You forgot the younger.
I always forget
younger.
I always forget that one.
Yeah. I am the co-founder of ehCanadaTravel.com, the co-host of this wonderful talk show, and I am the head tech of the operation, the keeper of the code. You got to get by me to get to our code. Thank you all for joining us today, tomorrow, and into the future.
Excellent. So now we go on to our weekly feature, Junior. A week in tourism, and because we are talking the cruising industry, I went to school today and yesterday and did a little bit of poking around to bring myself up to speed, because I want to be able to have an intelligent conversation with our guests, and I want to be able to have, so we're going to talk a little bit about the cruise industry. And here is an industry, Colin, that was projected to enjoy a 20.5% increase pre-COVID. Okay, it's been on a trajectory like this for quite some time. It was catching a lot of legs, and then the global cruise market. And Andrew, he's going to correct me, I'm sure, if I'm a little off on my numbers here. The global cruise market, I believe there's around 50 cruise lines, and there's approximately about 270 ships, right? So there's about that's out there on there. Yeah, it is huge. Statistics show in 2017, around 26.7 million people chose to go on a cruise.
Wow.
Followed by 28.5 million in 2018 and an estimated 30 million in 2020. Well, we all know that ain't happening, but it just shows you the trajectory this industry is on and how much money it's generating. So to give you an idea of money that's generating, in 2018, it was estimated that the world cruise industry was worth approximately 150 billion, and that's with a B, billion dollars.
Wow.
I know the money this industry generates, and then it drops into all these ports of call like Halifax, St. John, Camel River, Vancouver, Victoria, and there's a lot more, right?
Yeah, they're all fighting for them. Just brings so much money into town. It's like a wave.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing: in mid-March, Canada banned all ships with more than 500 people from docking in their ports. That's how we started out. And then we all know how that all ends, right? It's not a pretty picture in this industry and in many industries, right? Here's the thing with the cruise industry, people don't quite get. And this is, I was a little bit surprised at this as well, that ticket sales account for about 62% of total revenue for onboard. And then comes the onboard purchases, like the alcoholic drinks, the casino gambling, spa treatments, art auctions, shore excursions, live shows. They make up the remaining 38%. So the initial ticket purchase is the livelihood, right? That's a big pill. So no booking, 62% of their revenues go down. And then if you don't have a booking, no one's spending on board. So in my mind, because I was good at math, I actually did really well. That's 100% gone.
Wow.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Right?
That hurts.
It's not like the other industries where you're still getting people booking hotels. You're still getting people going to restaurants. Yeah, not the volume. And I get that. And please don't flood me with emails. I get it. But this is basically what we're sitting at. And the cruise industry is not only taking a beating at the cash register, but also on financial markets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the three largest cruise organizations here's what they're evaluated at. And this is probably, I don't know if this is still on, but it's at $30.30, $10.50, and $12.60 a share, respectively, in April. Okay. Approximately 70 to 80% lower than at the beginning of the year. So again, because I passed my math class, that's 100% not coming into the ships. Okay. And then not only that, they're sitting there, they're figuring everything out, and they're behaving by the rules, and they're trying to do their best, and it's a great experience, and they're not getting a fair shake through the media. Then they got to sit there and take it on the financial market. I mean, come on. I mean, how can you still be standing when you're getting all these punches to the head, punches to the gut? Right? What a resilient industry.
Yeah, for sure. They've taken like you say, a dead stop, and the capital's gone. 60% of it's gone. I mean, that's plus all the staff that are gone. You have to retrain the staff and all that.
So what do you think? What are cruise ships doing now during COVID? So here's a couple of things. Cruise lines are offering, and I thought this was, and kudos to you who do date cruises, because I thought this was cool, because keeping this money within the system is crucial. Cruise lines are offering, I think, coupon bonus credits, right? And what they're doing, and I don't know if they're all doing it, and again, Andrew will correct us, but what they're doing is when you get a credit, they're giving you 120 to 110% of booking amount. So you're actually getting a little bit more on your credit. And instead of getting cash refunds is an option that they're basically giving their passengers. So I'll give you 125% credit on your 100, or you can have a refund. And here's the nice thing is the US UBC Bank report released on end of March, beginning of April, around there. 76% of the passengers whose cruises were canceled due to the pandemic have opted for the credit.
Interesting.
Isn't that's loyalty?
So they have faith in the industry and know it's coming back.
Yeah, I mean, that says a lot, right there and then. I don't know if any other industry is getting that sort of return by their loyal passengers. I don't think, I could tell you right now, airlines aren't at 75%.
No,
I could tell you right now, trains aren't at 75%. They're not even close.
Yeah.
And I know I'll get emails about that. Please tell me if you're going to complain. Please tell me the percentages, because I bet you they're not near 75, right?
No, for sure. That's loyalty, like you say.
Yep. And I think one of the biggest things that we touched on this with Andrew too. The issues aren't the people who have cruised. They're hooked. They trust the cruise line. The cruise lines are more clean than probably a lot of other sectors of the economy. Some of it because they want to be a role model, and others because they don't have a choice because of the position they've been put in. And I'm sure we'll talk on that a little bit, right? But in Canada alone, in 2019, and here's it, you know us, Colin, we love tourism, right? But in Canada, welcomed over 140 cruise ships in 2019.
Wow.
That came to our shores directly from more than 10 different countries. Okay. That's huge, right? The cruise industry brings at least 2 million travelers to our coasts annually, just in Canada. 2 million travelers. Now, I don't know what the average spend is, and maybe Andrew does, but what's 2 million times average spend? A ton of dough.
Yeah. More I've heard money, the average spend is pretty high.
And I bet you it is. I bet you it's huge, right? So because of this, I think it's a great time to talk with our cruise line guest, Mr. Andrew Parker of North American Destinations. And what I'd like to do right now is I'm going to bring Andrew online, and he is going to join our little party here and give us a little insight. So let's welcome to the show, Mr. Andrew Parker at Destinations North America. Welcome to the show, Andrew.
Hey guys, how are you?
We're doing fantastic. Thank you for coming online and giving us a little insight on the cruise industry. And we're going to throw this message out a big way tomorrow. And let's see if we can open up some eyes. What do you think about that?
Well, like you said, sharing is caring.
It is absolutely.
So we're going to share because we care.
Yeah.
We care about the industry. We care about tourism, and we care about the people who it ultimately affects. We've got to get things moving.
I gotcha. So Andrew, I introduced you a bit. Now you do some public speaking, and that's obvious from our pre-show. Very good. You do some skilled in coaching, employee learning development, staffing coordination, operational planning, and public speaking. Tell us a little bit about Andrew Parker and Destinations North America that we have not covered. Give us a little insight.
My God, an avid traveler. I ran a restaurant for 25 years, successfully in the West End of Vancouver. When I sold it, my plan was just to semi-retire and to do more traveling. And I took on this little part-time job at Destinations North America to welcome cruise ship passengers and to be a meet and greet type person. That was 5 years ago. It evolved into where I am today, which is the operations manager at the Port of Vancouver for Destinations North America, working for an absolutely amazing company that handles shore excursions, ground handling, port agency, land programs, destination management services. It really is a fantastic company that has the highest standards of service for passengers and for the cruise lines it represents.
Yeah.
So I'm honored to have this second career in my life that gets me to do something that I've become very passionate about.
And that is hence why Junior and I brought you on the show, because it was definitely obvious from our communications, whether it's online and briefly through different types of text measuring. But I'm really excited for this show, Andrew, because I want to learn more, and I want to see what everyone can do, including our viewers today, tomorrow, and down the line, and what we can do. So. Let's get into some questions here, and let's see if we can open up some worms and let's see if we can dig down deep and get the answers out there. So one of the things I saw is that MSC, which is a big cruise line, is offering Caribbean cruises at about 50% off and kids sail for free. The same cruise line has been setting sail in Europe for approximately 3 months with good results. And I believe they're still going, aren't they?
Yeah, they're still going. It's not to say that there haven't been cases.
Yeah.
But I think that's the reality of the situation.
Okay.
And that's something we're going to have to face, is there going to be cases. The vaccination, as we spoke earlier, I don't think is going to be released to the general public, and at least until the maybe third, fourth quarter of 21.
Yep.
So we're going to have to proceed with watching science, keeping social distancing, hand washing, mask wearing, temperature checks, and rapid testing. We have to have rapid testing, and 100% testing for all passengers, all crew going on board.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the sales are still going forward in Europe and doing very well, very successful. People are eager to get back on the ships.
Mm-hmm.
But we are seeing cases, but it's how we manage these cases, how we make sure that isolation protocols are in place, testing is done. So yeah, I think it's going very well for where we are in the industry.
So there are many cruise lines, ports of destination, countries participating in the cruising industry. It's for somebody like us that doesn't have their ear to it, maybe as much as we should. But yourself, because you're embedded in that, it's sort of, for us, sort of, it's hard to keep track, because the needle just moves like so fast. It's moving like all over the place. Some are sailing, some are canceling, some are postponing. Where do we sit with the cruise industry in Canada? Like, where are we at with our homegrown Canada cruise industry?
Homegrown right now at a standstill. Nothing can occur until we have the waters opened up, and they're closed until October 31st. We don't know what'll happen October 31st. We don't know if we'll open them up then or if they'll remain closed, and we'll see what's happening in the States with the CDC. So we need the waters opened up. We need the borders opened up, and the borders aren't going to be opening up now until the end of November because there was an extension yesterday. And I get it. We want to make sure that what's happening down in the States is figured out before we start opening the border and having them come up. October 31st is an interesting date because basically that's when our cruise seasons would have ended anyway. So it's not going to affect the Canadian cruise industry season because we won't start seeing things get going until April of 21 anyway. So this gives us a chance to work on our plans, to make sure things are in place, cross our T's, dot our I's, and just make sure that we're ready to hit the ground running or walking when the no sail order is lifted.
Okay. So the media here, Andrew, and this is a sore point with Colin and I, and we sort of touched on it in the green room, picking out on poutine. The media has painted, and I will say this on record, the media has painted an unkind picture of the cruise industry in the beginning of this pandemic. Colin agrees, I agree, and based on our conversations, I think we got your agreement on that too. Was it fair to point the finger at the cruise industry when this outbreak started? Was that fair?
No, I really, I think we were vilified. Okay. I think cruising is, it was used as a scapegoat because the large numbers that were on that ship, it was extremely high, but we'd never seen anything like it. The cruise industry has always had the highest standard of reporting any illnesses that occur on board a ship. Before they dock, there is a protocol in place that if there's a passenger in isolation, CBSA, the Canadian Border Service Association, and the Health Canada, they know. It's reported. Those passengers are isolated. Their luggage is isolated. They are disembarked separately. There's a separate route they take to get to where they need to go. There is no other form of transportation that is required to document like the cruise lines are. You don't get planes doing it. You don't get trains doing it. You don't get hotels doing it. So you hear more about what happens on a cruise ship because they report it.
Yeah.
So to unfairly vilify them and blame them for this is just, in my mind, it's just not right.
Yeah.
It was unfortunate, but when these passengers left some of these ships, they were put on planes, flown home. And there's reports now that these were flights from hell. These people were so sick. They landed in the States. They were briefly checked and then released to go into their communities while they were sick. They went home, they went to school, they went to work, they went shopping, they went to see their families. And that was the CDC that let them out.
That's the story that needs to be told.
So, yeah, I really think that the cruise line is an easy escape, but they're bending over backwards to ensure that their standards and their operating procedures are unified across the world for the health, safety, and well-being of passengers, crew, and the general public. This pandemic has proven one thing, and that is cruise lines are working united. They're coming together. The stakeholders in ports are working together, unheard of in any other industry, to ensure that all the information is passed on to everyone It's transparent. It's open. It's honest discussion. If one thing's working in Rome, they're sharing it with the U.S.
I like that.
The cruise lines, Royal Caribbean Group and NCL and their Healthy Sail Panel, working hand in hand to ensure that there are protocols in place for everyone to follow. Because if one fails, everyone fails. If one port fails, all ports will fail. So it's got to be unified. And you can have your branding and you can have your competitive spirit when it comes to, one-upmanship of who's got the best restaurant or who's got the best water slide or who's got the best shows. But when it comes to the health, safety, and well-being of passengers, crew, and the general public, everybody is on the same page. And they are in full agreement that we will walk before we run, that we will not open up until we are assured that we will get it right. Again, that's not to say we won't have positive cases, but it is to say that when we do identify positive cases, we will be prepared to handle them. We will be prepared to not burden the community with them. The cruise lines will take care. Cruise ships have almost doubled the size of their medical facilities on board for isolation areas, for making sure that passengers are taken care of. Quarantine if need be. Ventilation systems have been changed, improved. Older cruise ships have been retired because they weren't up to standard and there was no way they were going to get them up to standard. The newer cruise ships are bigger. There's more space for social distancing than ever before. You don't go into a hotel and get as much social distancing space that you can get on a cruise ship. If you're not socially distanced, then you're wearing a mask. You don't get the amount of hand washing going onto a plane that you do when you go onto a cruise ship. There are hand washing stations everywhere, temperature checks. Again, 100% testing of all crew and passengers prior to boarding. You have to have a negative test. Otherwise, you're not going on.
I think another thing, if with a lot of the other modes, okay, and I don't know if I think it's a big issue, but if you look at a plane and train, the other large transportation means within Canada, one thing the cruise ship has, they have outdoors.
Yes. Yeah, and that's,
I mean, I know from my experience, Andrew, that I could tell you right now, 80% of my time was spent on the decks, whether it's the top deck, middle deck, lower deck, pool, side deck, lounge chairs. That's where everyone hangs out.
Yeah.
That is a lot safer than in a train. That's a lot safer than a plane. And it's a lot safer in restaurants, sitting down, and all these other type of things. And I think people forget that there's ample opportunity to be in an environment where it isn't as dangerous.
Exactly. You have the opportunity for social distancing and being outside.
Yes.
And the cruise lines are aware of that, and they're aware of, when we open back up, it won't be at 100% capacity. It'll be at 60% possibly. So you've got even more of a chance for social distancing. Ports for check-in, for embarkation and debarkation. The new protocols of adhering to very strict check-in times. If your time is not to check in, you won't be allowed into the cruise ship terminal. We're going to ensure that we monitor passenger flows to keep that social distancing. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure that the pleasure of cruising doesn't change. The safety has always been there, but we have just improved on things that were already in the process of being improved on. If anything, this pandemic has just sort of pushed that envelope a little further along. We've always had Royal Caribbean Group, Princess have had wearable technology. The wearable technology is fantastic for contact tracing. Well, if you had mentioned contact tracing this time last year, we wouldn't have known what we were talking about.
Yeah.
But we thought this wearable technology was great because you could walk into a bar or you could walk into a restaurant and it identified who you were and maybe knew what your likes and dislikes were on a menu or a drink menu. Now we find that this wearable technology is an even better tool of ensuring where passengers are. It can be used for contact tracing. It can be used for if someone goes overboard. We have the ability for search and rescue that we hadn't thought of before. We had, but we hadn't pushed the envelope. We're doing more touchless, keys, roomless entry, keyless entry into rooms. Use your smartphone. No more restaurant menus. Use a QR code. The check-in procedure can be made so much better by ensuring that it's done at home and you upload all of your information so that when you arrive at a port, it's just like showing a QR code. You get a green light on your QR code, you keep on moving. We don't need to touch your passport. We don't need to have you fill out health questionnaires. You have to fill them out for sure, but you can do it online. So as much touchless technology as possible. And this was all in the, it was in the works, but this has sort of pushed it. It's pushed that envelope.
Yep.
So I like to say that the new normal has just given us new opportunities. People look at that new normal as something that's wrong, and it's not. It's a new opportunity. It's a new opportunity to reinvent a fantastic product that people love, that people want to bring back, and bring it back in a way that's even better, and it can be better.
It's already a great experience. I mean, it's already had that label being a great experience.
It's fantastic. You pack once,
yeah,
and you see so many ports.
Yeah,
you go to so many restaurants, but you don't have to unpack your suitcase, pack your suitcase, get in another train, get in another plane, go to a different. You're taken to these fantastic ports. And you can just sit back and relax. And it's your choice. You can do as much as you want on a cruise, or you can do as little as you want on a cruise. You can read a book, you can read 20 books, or you can have nonstop activities. And you could leave that cruise at the end of the week or however long exhausted. But know that you've got your money's worth. Or you can leave so well rested and all you've done is just watch the ocean go by. And eat.
And the thing, I mean, come on, the food on these things are top notch.
It gets a bad rap with this whole thing about buffets. It's Holland America a few years ago started moving away from buffets, self-service. They had some self-service, but the majority of it was getting to the point where you were being served by someone. So the notion that we're going to do away with all buffets, no, but we're rethinking buffets. It just means that we'll have people there to serve you. Well, in my mind, that's even healthier than grazing by yourself. Because
I'm a buffet fan myself, for sure. I mean,
it's going to be there, but it just means that you'll have someone there to actually serve you. So it's better. But then the choices of restaurants on the ships now, not just buffet, but the 5-star restaurants are amazing.
And the other thing too is, and if you haven't done a cruise, it's 24/7 amazing.
Oh yeah. It you can get top-notch food whenever you want. And it's superb. It really is.
I really liked it when I was there with my girlfriend at the time, is that we could go dancing at 4 a.m. I could go to the piano bar at 6 a.m. I could go eat at 1 a.m. I could go to the casino at 2 a.m. I could go in 4 p.m. I can do whatever. Everything's open.
Yeah. And that's not going to change. MSC and their cruising in Europe, there are certain things that, you have to book a spa appointment. You have to book an appointment to go to the gym. So there's protocols in place that will be evolving.
Yeah.
So when the cruise industry comes back, you might find it being very restrictive at first, but things are changing so quickly that what's in place now could totally be different in 6 months.
Yep.
So what we're looking at the Port of Vancouver, the protocols and things that we're putting in place now, before the ban on cruising is even lifted, by April, May, June of 21, it could look differently.
Yeah.
But I'd rather see a very solid foundation that we can build on, that we can tweak if need be. But we need to present to Health Canada, we need to present to the general public that you are going to be safe, that we are going to take care of your basic health and safety needs when you come to the cruise terminal, before you board the cruise ship, and while on the cruise ship, while you're doing your tour excursion. We want to make sure that you feel comfortable and safe doing that.
Yeah. So this is one thing that I sort of threw in here that I wanted to ask you is I was reading through this, and there's one little thing I was sort of picking up on as I was looking and searching around for our pre-show research, is that there's examples of like PO Cruises officially taken delivery of its new ship, Iona, and then American Cruise Line rolls out American Melody. Princess Cruises acquires the Enchanted Princess. Then there's the Spirit Adventure of Sega Cruises. But on Travel Weekly, there's an article on how cruise lines are in no hurry to buy new ships. So, Andrew, what's going on?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Cruise lines are always selling off ships. That's just the nature of the business. They outlive their life at that cruise line, and they get repurposed onto another cruise line that buys them. But it's now making news because it's the cruise line, and the media likes to jump on it, and it's a good oh my God, they're failing, and look at, there's 6 cruise ships being scrapped, and they're all Carnival. Yep. Well, these cruise ships would have been scrapped anyway.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. There are a huge amount of new builds coming over the next 3-4 years. Some have been delayed due to the pandemic, but are still going ahead. Some have been delivered. The Scarlet Lady was delivered. She hasn't sailed yet, the poor girl, because her inaugural was supposed to be in March. But she will have her inaugural sailing. Princess, like you said, MSC, they're all coming. I can't speak of new builds beyond what are already in the works, but these new builds are fantastic. They're spectacular. Some are bigger than others. Some are, more medium size. But these new ships are able to run at 60-70% occupancy and still turn a profit because, they're just built right.
Yeah. So here's what I'm getting then, and this is what, again, the media, I just wish they would just say it like it is. But here's what I'm getting is that bigger lines are selling to smaller lines. So basically what they're actually doing is they're recycling.
Yeah.
And why isn't that not the message out there? Why is it not saying, look how the cruise lines are working together. Look how this cruise line is selling to this cruise line to selling to this
because that doesn't sell copy.
Unbelievable.
Fred Olsen bought 2 of the Holland America ships early in the year and has rebranded them for themselves, and they will be a huge success. But this is what happens. Princess sells off some of their ships to a cruise line, maybe in Greece or in Australia. Carnival does the same thing. And then some of them, they're too big. No one wants them. and they get scrapped, but they've outlived their lives. It's like you don't keep driving your car into the ground. At some point, you just got to say it's costing too much to keep running. So did the pandemic maybe push things a little more? Possibly, because if you're going to start looking at a new infrastructure on the ships, new systems that are touchless, new airflow, is it prudent and wise to invest that infrastructure into a ship that is already reaching its life expectancy? And why would you throw good money after bad if you know that you are going to have to cut back at some point in order to remain solvent and to forge ahead and be a viable commodity for the general public? So you have to cut your losses, and sometimes it gets pushed a little faster than you naturally would have. Maybe they would have sailed through this season, some of them, but it's not feasible to update them if you know you're only going to get another year out of them.
See, now that we know what's going on, that makes total sense. I mean, that makes total sense. And in actuality, they're actually, and I'll put it this way, they're recycling ships. And in my view, that's environmentally friendly. That's responsible ownership. That's responsible corporate conduct. That's working together as an industry. There's so many positives coming out of that story.
Yeah, and that's what you don't see enough of, is the fact that this industry is working so well together. I have never witnessed so many people of so many different levels, presidents, vice presidents of corporations, of companies, of stakeholders, all with one goal in mind. And that is to make sure that when we do this, we do it right.
Yeah.
And that we're all on the same page.
Yep, makes sense.
Nice to hear. Very rare.
Isn't it rare in as a industry segment that this is I mean, we're not seeing that with WestJet and Air Canada.
No. You're seeing YVR is doing a superb job with its health initiative and its whole approach to cleaning and trying to get things up and running. But to watch airlines, and they're not, in my mind, working as closely as Carnival is with MSC, is with NCL and Royal Caribbean Group and Disney. And Holland America and Princess. You just don't see it.
No. So here's something that's I found really interesting. Is cruising has grown annually in Canada and contributed, and get this, Canadians and the world, contributed 4.1 billion of economic impact, and that was 2018, up from 3.2 billion 2 years earlier. And get this, because Atlantic Canada is a big cruising market. Atlantic Canada, 873,000 passengers, generated about $373 million, and that's to Atlantic Canada.
They want to go and see the leaves change colors.
Yes.
The fact that the East Coast is missing out on the ships coming up through the St. Lawrence. Through Quebec, through Montreal, to New Brunswick, to PEI, from New York. Oh my God, this is just a stunning time of year for people to go cruising and to see this. And we're losing this a ton.
Yeah. So if with all these communities and regions relying on this revenue generated by the cruise industry, and I wouldn't be surprised in Atlantic Canada if the cruise industry is the number one GDP for that region, because there's really a big gap between success and non-success. Many are suffering the ripple effects is all adding up. So if a cruise doesn't show up in Halifax, or show up going down the St. Lawrence, or it doesn't show up in New Brunswick, or show up in St. John, or any of these areas, how do you see the cruise industry moving forward into 2021 with to get those revenues flowing again into these markets? Is it too early for an answer, or
no? Well, I mean, again, I go back to we've got to open up the waters. We got to open up the waters. We got to open up the borders. We've got to watch closely what science is dictating. We've got to watch closely what the CDC is doing in the States, and we've got to learn from them. Once the CDC opens and we see cruises going from Miami, from Fort Lauderdale, from Galveston, LA, we can learn, we can watch, we can observe, we can, like I said, walk before we run. But we are planning very strongly for a healthy comeback in 21. But we have to ensure that these poor people, these small tour operators, these buses, these restaurants, these hotels, these mom and pop operations for gift shops are still there.
Exactly.
Because if they're not there and we lose them, who's going to replace them?
Exactly.
We can't afford in Vancouver to lose any more hotel rooms because we're already short. We can't afford to lose buses because we're already short on buses. So when tourism comes back, and it will come back, and it won't be as robust in 2021 as it was in 2019, and I don't think we'll see it peak until maybe 22, 23. The cruise lines, I think you'll see a slow start in 21, but I see all ships back on the water and sailing by the third quarter of 21, not at full capacity, but they will be working, and a cruise will be on board. And through 22, I think you'll see it start to ramp up again, and you'll see more ports opening up. But for these industries that are so reliant on the cruise industry, we have to ensure that they're protected, which means when we do shore excursions, we have a bubble that's going to protect these industries. So when they go to Alaska, that when they get off the ship, they're in their isolated bubble. So we protect the people of Alaska. Alaska would be decimated if we didn't have a 21 season. They need that. And they are working hand in hand tirelessly with the cruise lines, with the stakeholders to ensure that they do everything they can. Restaurants, we just need to support them. And if that means going local, you know what, while we wait for this to start back up, it means those of us who live in those communities, go and support local.
Big time.
If it means you can only do it once a month, at least do it once a month. If it means going to visit that little gift souvenir shop that's been there for years, that is dependent on the revenue brought in by cruise industries, go there and do some Christmas shopping. Buy something local and give that as a Christmas gift. Don't go to your big box store, Walmarts, and don't go to your Canadian Tires, and I'm not putting them down, or the Bay or anything like that, but think of these small individual places. If you want to travel, think local and stay at a small hotel. They need the revenue, and we need them to be here for us in 21, 22, 23, and on.
And we've been pushing that big time for the last 2, 3, 4 months. Is we got to shop local, and we got to support our local communities until it opens up. And if you are going to travel, then plan your travel properly and make sure you support the areas along the way the best you can.
Yes.
Right. So, Andrew, I can tell you, I've loved this, and I strongly think we're going to have to invite you back to get an update on the cruise industry.
I would love to come back. Yes. I really would.
Is there anything you'd like to leave our listeners before we let you go, Andrew?
I would encourage past cruisers and future cruisers to book a cruise. Use a reputable cruise agency. Use a travel agent. They will know what you need to do, and they will be able to better advise you. But book one, because it is the best way. It'll be the safest form of traveling around. I guarantee it. We're going to take care of you. There's closer oversight of passengers when they embark than at a hotel. there's better oversight of what happens to you on a ship than it is when you get onto a plane. Cruising, you get to see amazing ports, places that you could never even in your wildest dreams think of going to, and you sit back and they'll take you. You'll get 5-star meals cooked by the best chefs in the world.
God, I love that.
You'll see Broadway produced shows, and some of the most superb entertainers around will be there to entertain you 24/7.
Yeah.
So I urge people, book for 21, book for 22. It's a superb way of seeing the world, or just sitting back and relaxing.
I could tell you that next year we got to hook ourselves up with a cruise line call.
Yeah. For sure. Are they going to be offering like advanced booking discounts, that sort of thing? Do you see that coming for people if they?
I can see them having discounts for sure. They're going to have to market, and they're going to have to market big time. And we discussed before going on air, and I think it's a fabulous idea of having real people, having not a tacky reality show, but showing the cruising experience firsthand from Joe Schmo.
My name's Joe. My name's Joe Schmo.
Yeah. Giving the ins and outs, and just letting someone see what it's really like, and experience it. Go, wow! I never thought. I was told it was a floating petri dish, and it's like it's the furthest thing from it. It is the cleanest environment. We will make sure your temperatures are taken, hand washing, face masks, social distancing, and 100% testing of everyone before they board a ship. So, without that magic vaccine, I still say cruise, enjoy, we'll take care of you.
Yeah. I can't wait to go on a cruise with you, Mr. Parker.
Yeah. Come on down.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, Andrew, we're gonna let you go. You're more than welcome to watch the rest of the show, and we will definitely keep in touch, and we know how to keep in touch with each other. And we wish you all the best, and we wish your friends in the cruise industry a fast and successful recovery.
Thanks, guys, and I look forward to coming by again sometime.
Excellent. Thank you, Andrew, for joining us.
Take care. Bye-bye.
So that was Mr. Colin Girard. That was Andrew Parker of Destinations North America joined us today. And I just thought I'm going to show off our little cruise background in celebration of our friends in the, look at that. And I love to show you, awesome. I love to show you what's behind our good looking faces there, because there's a big cruise ship, but it ain't going to happen. This program doesn't allow us. So we put in our little blue cruise ship in honoring our friend and tourism ambassador, Mr. Andrew Parker from Destinations North America. So, Colin, that was our show. It's brought to you by the ehTravel Marketing Group, which includes the award-winning website, ehCanadaTravel.com, our 23rd ranked blog, Two Brothers, 2 Feet, 2 Curious, 2 Canadian. This show is part of that marketing group. And then we also have our content marketing program for small and rural communities in Canada called Experience Community, which is pushing out triple digits results, very successful. Bring it to your small community and watch this thing fly. We are your hosts, Greg and Colin Girard. The Brothers of Tourism is the nickname we've been given, and we sort of have stolen that from a few people, and we like it, so it's going to stick. We are the co-founding brothers of ehCanada Travel. We're also our blog, and then of course we want you all to keep in touch with us, and with all our travel. We have an 18,000 page website, over 1,000 stories about travel all over this country. Please follow us on our Facebook page, our Twitter page, our Instagram page, YouTube page. You can hook up with me on LinkedIn, but be nice and gentle. And then we'll go from there. You got anything you want to add there, Junior?
We'd love to hear from you, like you say, and share. And Andrew, thank you very much for, it's been an honor to have you.
That's our show for tonight from Canuckville, Canada. We are going to end our show with a short little video of our White Horse mountain biking trip. We'll see.
That was a great day.
That was awesome day. I had so much fun on White Horse. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place, 7 p.m. PST right here on our Facebook page. Be safe, Canada. Canada out. You got anything to say, Junior?
Aye, Captain.
Aye, Captain. So here we
Ships
go.
ahoy.
Part 4 of 7 of our Arctic expedition.
So who's that guy?
SS Klondike. Hello from Whitehorse, Yukon.
Brother.
SS Klondike.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Woo. Where are we?
Whitehorse, Yukon territories, baby. Yeah.
Chadburn Lake Trails, Whitehorse, Yukon. Check.
That's a big check.
Hey, we're at the Whitehorse Rapids Fishery here in Whitehorse, Yukon territory. My bro is coming over and join me. Here we are. We're at the lookout at the rapids, which probably you're going to see a video of. And we just finished mountain biking Chadburn Lake.
Oh yeah.
Wow!
That was amazing. Yeah. Mountain biking Whitehorse territories.
No.
Whitehorse. It's a good ride, you know. Still a little catching my breath. Chadburn Lake.
Yes.
We were there.
We rocked it. Look at our, look, mountain biking gear.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're here at the rapids, enjoying the views, enjoying Whitehorse, Yukon. We're right on the trail that takes you all along the river. And what else?
That pretty much sums it up.
See you on the other side.
Ciao for now.
There's my brother.
Put it on insect repellent. Good one.
That's gonna make it.
Definitely.
We think we saw a bear jump in the Yukon River.
You don't think I saw one.
Colin saw a
Sure.
bear.
The black bear swimming in the lake in the river.
It looks like a black bear. It's swimming like a black bear.
Look at this hump sticking up. That is pretty cool. Beavers building the dam on the Yukon River.